appreciate the opportunity to be here. I understand Mr. Jones from the Green Party was trying to make it, but for some reason didn't. I'm a little disappointed because I was hoping we'd have some spirited debate up here, although I was quite certain that the Democrats and the Republican would hide. Again, my name is Mike Labno. I am running for the United States Senate. My background is in mechanical engineering. I work in electrical construction as a project manager. I am a father, so I understand the posterity part of our Constitution, that we need to look out for our future, not just what's going on right now. That's something that I think my Republican and Democrat opponent do not understand, is posterity. Neither of them are fathers at all. Why am I running as a Libertarian? When I look to the Republican Party, I look to them for fiscal sanity, and I see them writing $800 billion checks to corporate banksters. This sickens me. When I look to the Democrats for humanitarianism, I find them sponsoring a war in the Middle East. The killing is out of control. The money that goes to corporate America, out of our tax money and my daughter's tax money and probably her children's tax money, is disgusting. And it's time that we start to concentrate on the needs of the American citizens, not the needs of what's going around in the world or what's going on in Wall Street. Thank you. I think I was supposed to take a few questions. You know, I could talk all day, but I think it's better if I find out what is important to everybody in the room and what kind of questions you want to ask. I believe that's what I agreed with Karen. Okay, thank you. Hope I didn't put you on the spot, Karen.
I'm just going to give some water.
You can tell I'm dry.
Thank you. I do have 3 questions for you. Each question you'll have 1 minute and a half to answer. 1 minute and 30 seconds. First question. How should the government ensure that Social Security is secure in the future?
Okay. Social Security is what I'd like to call a Ponzi scheme. In this country, Bernie Madoff was just arrested not so long ago and put in jail for running a Ponzi scheme, meaning he took money from one group of people. He promised them that they would make a lot of money, and he went out and got money from other people to make sure that that first group got their investment back, and so on and so forth. Well, every time you keep this Ponzi scheme going, you need more and more people to feed it. Well, it's very similar to how Social Security works. They promise money to a certain group of people, and the next group of people are footing the bill. We need to work on transitioning out of the Social Security system because it is going to go bankrupt. We are already hitting the red now. The best way to do that, for folks that are in retirement or very close to retirement and too late to look at individual planning for themselves, we need to keep them in the system, of course. But the government, it sits on a lot of property in the United States, and it's time that we look at selling this property to private investors, putting money in the Treasury, and telling Congress, hands off, this is to pay off the remainder of our obligations, and give the rest of the people in this country an opportunity to look out for their own future.
Next question. Do you support H.R. 4812, the Local Jobs for America Act, which will create over 40,000 jobs in Illinois? If not, what will you do to create jobs?
That, of course, creating jobs is the most important part of this race, or part of anything that's going on in government right now. The small business and jobs bills that are out there are not working. And if you look at how they're modeled, they are basically modeled at what caused this recession right now. Government wanted to put everybody in a house for the past 10, 20 years, whether it's Democrats or Republicans. And they told the banks, they said, you go ahead, you make these loans, you do whatever you need to do to get these people in the a house. Because when people are in homes and they get loans easy, we know we're gonna get reelected. But as we can see in the last few years, this system fell apart because government decided who the winners were gonna be, which in this case were the banks. And when they couldn't make things happen anymore and the money ran out and the market was oversaturated, our property levels fell down. Well, this is what's gonna happen with small business and jobs bills, is that bad investments are gonna be made. People look at it as free money. Hey, I can throw this money into any kind of business I want, do as I please. But people need to be responsible. When people take a risk and it's their own money that's at stake, they're gonna make wiser decisions rather than playing with your tax dollars to open up a business that probably is not in the best interest of everyone.
And a final question. Do you support the immediate extension and expansion of eligibility of jobless benefits, including health care and food assistance?
Yeah, as a libertarian, we look for a very hands-off government, especially at a federal level. There's 18 defined things that we're supposed to be doing at a federal level, and our prime concern is to protect this nation. But what really saddens me is that just not so long ago, the Senate was debating, I believe it was a $30 billion unemployment extension. In a perfect world, we'd like to not have these kinds of bills to face, but it makes me sick that these guys would hold off and argue about whether it's right to extend unemployment benefits. Yet over the past couple of years, they have no problem signing a check to corporate banksters to bail them out when they get in trouble. Well, these are the guys that got us in trouble, so you know what? Yeah, I will definitely be happy to extend unemployment benefits. What we have to do is cut off the corporate welfare. That is where the problem is in this country. And we need to bring our troops home and start concentrating on what's happening in this country, not spending trillions of dollars around the world on protecting oil that only a few handful of people are profiting from.
At this time, we will give you 2 minutes for a closing statement.
Being a libertarian, I get accused of a lot of things. Republicans accuse me of being a liberal because I believe in equal rights. Democrats accuse me of being a conservative and some kind of capitalist pig, and they tell me that capitalism in this country has failed. I want to set the record straight. Capitalism in this country did not fail. Capitalism died in this country 100 years ago. Corporatism is what has failed in this country. Corporations work hand in hand with our elected government officials. They write legislation to get everything done in their favor. And in the end, we are the ones that pay taxes for it. And then people say, well, we got to raise taxes to help everything out, to pay for services. Well, I'll tell you what, even if you raise taxes on these corporations after they take your money, that's getting passed on to us anyway. Because when they have to pay more taxes, they're going to either raise their prices, they're going to send their jobs elsewhere, or they're just going to make, and I'll say it bluntly, a crappier product. So it's time that we start getting all of the special interests out of Washington and tell Washington you have 18 defined measures of what your job is in this country. Leave the economies up to the state where people at a local level know what is going on. There's no soothsayer sitting on Capitol Hill that can say, I know what is good for Chicago, and it's going to apply equally down in Belleville or Peoria or up here in Lake County. Nobody in Washington can do that, and that's why they have defined rules that they're supposed to follow. Again, Mike Labno, Libertarian for United States Senate. Thank you.
Thank you for your participation. We wish you all in the election. We do have one final candidate. This is Valerie DeVos. She's a write-in candidate.